I was going to say, on the other side, if you are looking at Nongshim, are we liking this composition? It seems pretty old school familiar with the neon in the mix, though.
Yeah, look, it's very them. They love to do this. For me, I would rather them embrace their own style, understand what works for them. This is not a team that I want to see get too countered, get too in the weeds about the anti-strats, run what won you a trophy.
Game is ready. Our casters are ready to rock for this first one. We've got the beautiful duo. You know them. You love them. It's Mitch and Tom Biz. Gentlemen, take it away.
Well, it's always wonderful to hear from you, Puckett. It's good to see him over there on the desktop, but even better to see the Vitality fans in the stadium ready to root their team on up against Nongshim. This is far from an easy matchup.
No, for sure. I think you come in with the Nongshim squad basically going back to what won them Santiago. Like, let's go back to our style. Let's put Dambi into that role where he can just show unmeasurable amounts of flair. And then on the other side, it's the opposite. It's Durka going, I didn't like the neon, but I'm going back to my jet now that everything is fixed. Who's right? Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. But an aggressive start on contact to the cam. The problem is, it was Sayonara to land that first shot. And the trades just didn't come through for the side of Nongshim.
Yeah, they've lost themselves the opening pick. Vitality now happy to run back, play somewhere else on the map, but Nongshim are coming to meet them. The defense exploring mid, finding a lot of bodies there and a lot of bullets flying back in the other direction. It's going to be a 5v1. Ivy needing the start of dreams to even make a dent here.
Cage triggered.
Yeah, I can't say I'm much of a believer in this one. I like the plan initially, just have the cam for contact, flash off the back of it, and try and find the kill in A main. The problem is, they lost every single fight along the way. You can have the right idea, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to work. Already, you can see that Sayonara's looking for those additional orbs, taking so much space, and also just the position of Profek. It almost seems like he forgot to leave the spawn. He's just watching. I will say, he's not really favored with a classic from this range, but maybe that won't matter too much. He's done damage, he's found info, and ultimately now will just be the cleanup in the end.
Yeah, of course, he was the one that activated the trip on A that kept Ivy over there as the plant was coming down on the other side, so he didn't want to rotate through. Now when there was likely to be a fight, got his scrap in the end, and, well, all things considered, I think Vitality are going to be pretty happy with how this round went. The first fight goes their way, they group up on mid, they catch the counter push. From there, only lose the one. Easy as can be.
Good job, boys.
Yeah, I mean, I think a very comfortable win, and obviously we have to look back at what we've seen on this map so far. It was a dominant win for Mates versus Nongshim when they played this map, really struggled over on the attack side, so I think we're definitely looking to see if maybe the defensive side half will work out better for them. Already though, looking for an aggressive contact play. Again, it seems like the goal is have these little set pop flashes ready and then fighting off the back of them. It can be difficult at times to get value from the Phoenix on the defense if you don't have these sort of setups, but that's something that I feel like Vitality are going to have to figure out along the way, and already an opening pick in what is a round with very little to play with. We'll see how much damage Nongshim can do.
And also when you're going into a stack, you're often going to want to have your Phoenix for exactly the reason that Nongshim used him. That counter flash going through the window after Vitality tried to take B main. Now when you push out to a site, you're going to have to rely on perhaps that Vice flash. Make your way through. They're going to group up towards the B side. They've avoided the big danger, at least for now, the stack from Nongshim. The numbers from the pistols where they really become deadly, but they're on the other side of the map. It's going to have to be Ivy just getting out, playing the retake with the squad. He's on 27 HP with a classic. He's not going to get much done if he stood his ground, so I like the adaptation. Chronicle doesn't do as well as he really needs to there. Luckily, that's just the pistol, but from here on out, there is a big chance for Nongshim to make this at least a costly round.
Yeah, especially when you're looking at 3 rifles. Any of them dropped will mean they're not able to be rebought. This is aggressive from Durka, surprisingly aggressive, but has a teammate covering off the angle. make sure he can get out scot-free. Of course, they also don't want to get locked in. That's the other thing that must be going through the Vitality players' minds. If we sit back, they're going to use the spike against us. So we need to get aggressive. We need to take this space back away. And they actually do an excellent job. That could have been very, very costly for them. Instead, they kill all 4 remaining players. They lose no more of their own. And all the rifles, as you said, they'll be kept through to the next round.
Yeah, this is it. Like you said, it was an aggressive stance that they were going for, Tom, but it was necessary in that moment because, yeah, if you sit back in a 4v3, sure, they're probably not going to get to the site. They're probably not going to defuse the spike, but what they will do is sit outside and wait for you to come rushing out. And then you're either going down to the spike or you've got a pretty uncomfortable fight.
Elias, please don't.
We'll never know. Please don't what? Elias
Please
is
don't
doing
bark.
something. Oh, I doubt he's asking that. Yeah,
I would have been, if anybody is asking it, it's probably Dirk.
I'm counter-requesting. But no, that was...
that's Pal. Pal's counter. He's going to take a pause and be like, we actually need more of that.
It was a very promising round from Nongshim, though. They're set up to start the round with that flash in main, waiting for contact. As soon as Vitality give it to them, they burst back with a trap of their own. And then at the end, the attempt to play the exits, but as we said, there was potential for it to get costly, but it ends up being a relatively comfortable round for Vitality once those warning signs went out of the way. As Degon would say, a submarine alarm was sounding, but luckily it was quieted just in time.
It's weird, I don't know what a submarine alarm sounds like.
I've never heard it in person, but I've heard an imitation, and it's quite alarming, I will say.
You know what? I agree with that. I can imagine it would be. Nonetheless, 2-0, this is where we expect the response. So far, those contact plays have done a little bit of damage, having the flash ready, but this time it's almost just a double duelist crossfire. Normally, though, when you come into this sort of a bonus round, there's some vulnerabilities for the side that won the first 2 rounds, but for Vitality, that isn't the case. At worst,
Take flight.
they have a Guardian. Okay, they didn't manage to build up any of their ultimates just yet, so that's not going to pad the gap, but you do look at Nongshim and go, okay, this round might be a little bit more difficult than you'd expect.
Well, Vitality retreat from that mid position. I did think this would be an even more difficult round with that split towards the B site, but they're going exploring. And it's dangerous territory, difficult terrain in front of them. Good flash, but X-Ross! He fires back for 2! Vitality, it looked like it avoided the danger. We thought it was Danger Man Danby, but X-Ross crossing off names, and, well, okay, a 4v3 at least. Yumpy does well to pull that back. That pick could open up the site for the plant. Where the spike is on the other side of the map. There's 8 seconds left. 2 players to drop and no time. Certainly no chance left for Vitality.
Guy, it looked like there was an opportunity for recovery, but when there's only 15 seconds left, that kill on the other side of the map was only meant to really be a backstab of rotations. And the other players, after losing that initial fight to X-Ross, just didn't really have an opportunity. This was wonderfully clean. Like, sure, they had an extra stun coming through just moments later, but it really became irrelevant in the end. And you see the reason we talk so much about the double duelist over on that Nongshim side, both of them getting a multi-frag in this round. As said, though, that was the bonus of sorts. And now Vitality are going to come in with another purchase, but a victory here will leave them in a bit more of an awkward scenario.
And Nongshim looking for a mid-fight of their own. Not only the 2 players pushed down, but one on short as well. Paranoia being primed. They're hoping to spot someone on catwalk. If Vitality step in to fill that space, Nongshim will trigger a trap that's, well, looking very deadly, at least for the moment. There it is, but they're a little further back. Able to hide in the corner. In goes the Hot Hands, forced out into the open. And it will be Francis to claim the double. An immediate retreat called by Nongshim as well. Happy with the early skirmish. They'll get out of there with a man advantage.
I love the way they're playing this. It almost reminds me of like an old school Xerxia, where the whole plan is to just have traps. Like, you're just waiting with this sort of setup. And you look at teams that run a double duelist, especially on the defense, you go, how are you going to make this work other than just buy an op and hope you can hit a shot? But every single time, even in the rounds they've lost, they've had some sort of setup to give them an advantage.
30 seconds left.
Again, the time now ticking for Vitality. 25 seconds to try and make a move in. Paranoia won't catch anything. Ivy is ready and waiting for the move to be made. That time ticking further down, and no trade to be had. It leaves just Prophet remaining, and a stellar hold, a stellar setup. A great round overall from Nongshim.
Yeah, the plan didn't even work as intended, right? With the Paranoia going, nobody pushed up deep on Cat. Vitality in a decent position to be able to tuck in down below. But the hot hands changes things. Francis is there firing from the side. But it's not just one player. It is the entire setup there. It's the fact that Dambi's on short, the fact that you've got Francis and X-Ross pushed all the way down mid. They've got that utility ready to fire out on the back of it. And how quickly Nongshim decided to just turn tail, get out of there, cash in the advantages that they've claimed. The same setup that we've seen before from Nongshim, this flash primed and ready. This time Vitality seemed like they knew it was coming. Still, they'll lose one to it. And the ult popped up by X-Ross, locks in the advantage. Francis as well, not expected to be filling in this space. Even when Vitality expect aggression, they don't expect this much aggression.
Especially going up against a low buy round, you might think you'd have a little bit more space, maybe a chance to grab an orb and make this round a bit more interesting, but Yuppie's at least done well. Francis
Spike
just
down,
hitting
mid.
heads though. The individual capabilities of this Nongshim roster on show. And there's no real chance for Prophet to come out of this round. 3-2. It was a pistol and follow-up for Vitality, but other than that, it has been all Nongshim on this defensive side. And I said, like, when they played against Mates, it was a 3-9 attack that they didn't really get to come back from after they lost the pistol round. But it definitely seems like they have some solid ideas on this defense.
Well, so far it's been nothing but ideas, nothing but setups, nothing but traps that Vitality have to walk into.
Good time for
every
pause.
step of the way. The pause here. Interested to see who called that one.
Well, I'm guessing Vitality.
I think normally our camera angle settles, that was the thing last year, settles on the team that called the pause, and right there it was Nongshim. I would be very surprised if they were the ones to take it. Quite possibly. I have no other way to tell, Tom, so that's what I'm going with for now, unless someone wants to let me know.
Yeah, I think that obviously in this case, especially the way the last few rounds have gone, it would make sense for Vitality to take a moment, listening to the coaching staff. I think even the fact that they've been playing these sort of more slow, defaulty rounds, and it's kind of played into the hands of their opponents, allowing them to have these sort of setups. And while for Nongshim, now looking at an opportunity, but Vitality come into this one with pretty much everything they need. They're one off having all 5 ultimates online. I wouldn't be surprised to see Sayonara try and use that running back earlier in the round, but the defenders are not just going to sit pretty. They've got an aggressive attempt of their own.
It's a bloodbath outside B, primed and ready for it. Dambi stuck in the corner as the Hunter's Fury rings out and some damage off of it. Chronicle ends up falling as a result, but Vitality, they've weathered that storm excellently. Still 3 players left alive, the spike under their control, and Nongshim with no idea where the hit will come in. That looked like it was going to be a lot more dangerous. In the end, it's set up for a slower round for this defense. They have no info to fill in, and they decided to just stand here in this high-low setup. It's beautiful work for Nongshim.
Spike down mid.
Vitality probably assumed there that they would have put the majority of their force towards A site. Not necessarily the A site, but one of them. And instead, just standing in mid, standing on business. The spike has been found. Yumpie's alone in the round. Pretty much a sealed deal at this point. A big clutch needed from the ag.al of Vitality.
God, they're just all sat in a crossfire around
30
that spike as well. There's too many angles left for him to clear. We need one of them instantly. Okay, there's the first. Second with an opportunity as well. And now running for the hills is Francis. The fact is there is still time. He can cross towards that A site. It's going to be a running race, and it's one that Yumpie will be able to win.
Left.
Especially with the door closed. It's going to take a moment for Francis to break, and that should give him time to plant. Maybe pull the gun up, but not quite enough. Francis just hot enough on his heels. A nice attempt from Yumpie. But the attempt doesn't garner around.
The full sprint from Francis. Lucky he went back to check market. He saw Yumpy crossing. Although here, he kind of hung his teammate out to dry. He's running away during this fight, by the way. They're having a 3-man standoff, and he just legged it to market from having been right around that corner. I bet Ivy had some words to say to him there, but he probably has to bite his tongue because he won the clutch.
A little bit close for comfort. But ultimately, again, it's the early round aggression. And I'm looking at this defensive side, and it doesn't look like they're going to shy away from this at all.
Scanning ahead.
3 players in mid, 1 player on shore. The B site currently completely open, only a singular trip in play. And the fact is, the goal of Vitality is to try and contact in and take their weapons away. They're going to take nobody's weapons away because there's nobody there. In fact, they've done a full execute with double ultimates, and because their opponents have completely abandoned the site, I was going to say they got nothing, but Durka gets a spam kill.
Ivy's probably muttering under his breath. That's what you deserve. That's what you get for last round. Well, the hero of the previous has been deleted and dealt with right off rip. Nongshim, a man down on the way through. RB already tagged heavily, sporting some serious scars from that initial fight. And Dambi tries his best to get them into the site, get them some control in main, but with him falling, Nongshim have given up. It's time to fall back and give that 3rd round to Vitality. Yeah, those double ults committed for the site for nothing. But that shot through the smoke changed the game.
Yeah, realistically, it probably would have been the exact same result if there was somebody on the site. You're probably getting a kill, or there's going to be a player with no gun. So I don't think Nongshim could... It must be annoying from them, but for Vitality, it is probably exactly where they expect it to be, with some form of advantage. Even still, though, that opener definitely helped them out. With a little bit of luck going a long way. For Nongshim now, looking to try and find a response. Of course, those ultimates have now faded from Vitality's side. They are also in a similar boat, though. It's only the Blade Storm for Durka that really holds too much of a threat. But will this be where Nongshim quell their aggression a little bit? Because that might change how things go for Vitality. When they've had to hit into the sites quite late, it's definitely been a bit more problematic.
Here on the attack, chipping away bit by bit. It's often what we want to see, that long road to the defensive side, and for Vitality, yeah, it came with the very, very hefty price tag in that previous round, although the ults might not have directly found the round. They had to commit them to get into a site. They felt like they did. Now we move back towards a more grounded round. They move to this B site, looking for the fight, almost punishing that main aggression, but Nongshim, they've got the information and they've been able to dip out. That trap could be a real problem here for Durka if he decides to go for that updraft dash out, but it looks like re-aggression is the name of the game for Nongshim, and they found one.
Yeah, and they've done so much damage as well. They hit Chronicle earlier, but I think Yumpy gets connected on by the spams, and Francis is going back for more. What? He just has no fear. Around the wall he goes, and see you later, Chronicle. You might be a player with 3 trophies to your belt, but Francis doesn't give a damn. And that leaves just 2 remaining once again. 20 seconds. They've had to deal with so much of this aggression. They're getting out of this seems impossible. There's even a paranoia left at 13 seconds on the clock. There is nothing that Vitality can do about this one. And it seems like their pause may have caused a flash in the pan, but we are right back to winning ways for Nongshim.
Yeah, even saving seems to be something that they'll be denied, at least for the first. Yumpy able to tuck in and carry that weapon forward, but that is a big blow for Vitality, and the ever-winding road to the defensive side now looking perilous as Nongshim have responses after responses. Their traps have been good. This one, though, was ridiculous. The reveal and a cloud burst, the re-aggression from Francis, the walk through the wall to shut down Kron. This has been about as clean of a start to the defense as you want, and even though it's 5-3, it feels like Nongshim have a chance to lock away a lot more rounds than this if they keep up this kind of pace.
Well, it's worth mentioning as well that when they were swapping things up and not having Danby on the Neon, the guy they had on the Neon was Francis. He was the guy that played these more aggressive roles, and you can kind of see why. He's still doing it on Sova. Bro, just swinging into Chronicle like it's absolutely nothing. Well, now, right back into a more standard execute. Durka trying to lead the way, but it's an immediate shutdown. Good trade from Sayonara, but again, it seems like the defenders have come out on top. Danby even going back through the smoke alone. And he's wiped out too as he does it. It leaves Chronicle. He has a 1v1 on the site. The door has actually been closed behind Ivy, leaving him completely isolated, but now he's bought time for his teammates to rotate in. Nice shot from Chronicle on the first, but Francis not giving him anything. Danby's flank. It's just time being bought. That's all Francis is doing. He's just baiting. He's just baiting for the freest kill of Danby's career, and eventually, even on 5 HP, he'll be there to close out the round. An absolute menace going back and forth through that smoke.
Yeah, Danby started to feel it in the middle of that round.
Yeah.
You could see it. The fact that he hits the stun, and I think when he throws that stun, he knows that probably hasn't hit. He knows that player is probably more than capable of taking the fight. I just don't think he cares. And that's the scary thing for Nongshim. The traps have been working. They allowed Vitality one since that second round and immediately fought back into it. And that was a round that Vitality dumped all of their ultimates into. And other than that, Nongshim now hitting a point where Francis in the round before, that one there for Danby, it looks like they're having fun.
Oh, they're disrespecting them completely. They're just like, okay, if we can get away with anything until you shut us down, we're just going to continue to do it. In goes Durka, out goes Durka. Danby's just pushed through a smoke and headshot him with the sniper. And well, that was kind of the main crux of the round. That's been one of the major problems so far for Vitality is you have this Jet Phoenix on attack. The Phoenix has gone missing. And the Jet hasn't been getting the openers. And of course, just again, through the smoke goes Francis. He really does have zero fear. He's doing the same thing he did in prior rounds. They're even waiting for him at this point, but it's meaningless. 7-3. The Korean powerhouse are looking right back in their Santiago form.
No, they really are. They came into this event. I guess they don't want to see NRG outlive them, one of the teams that they cut through on that Santiago run in playoffs. All of the other squads, well, they were here. You had Mates, you had G2, you had PaperX. None of them still sticking around for Nongshim. That's telling them we've got a chance to actually take this trophy. And we might even end up facing NRG for it, which will be just fine for them. A record that they're happy to repeat. For Vitality, on the other hand, the trophy's got to be out of their mind at this point. It looks like they're not even competing.
Well, that is the fun thing with Lev not making it to this event through the qualifier. And you go on recency bias, and you should be looking at a team like Nongshim. The fact is, they just had such a poor stage one regionally that you kind of count them out already. But it's almost like they were baiting us. They go, okay, we're going to swap back to, the stuff we were doing back when we won the tournament, and everything just clicks again. Everything starts to look much better. And well, this is already the second tactical pause taken by Vitality in a singular half. Now, don't get me wrong. We saw this when they played versus NRG. The defensive side was by far the better. They struggled to get those attack side rounds. But I do feel like an 8-4 and a 9-3 are fairly different scenarios. And with how things have been going so far, other than a round where they walk into a site that was empty, use 2 ults and headshot someone through a smoke, I don't think any of these rounds have been close.
Yeah, it did start off clean for Vitality in those first 2, but the pistol and follow-up, that's not really the meat and potatoes of the game.
Joke's
for Nongshim. 7 rounds. A Hunter's Fury from Francis. He's found the tag to start with. The third pulse going through as Sayonara hunts them down, but the run it back finds nothing. A little bit of space, but a smoke pops up, and that space is all gone. In fact, Danby is using it to walk through, and he'll get Yumpy! Danby is playing one hell of a game. He stunned himself.
He got out.
And he still gets out, well, most of the way.
Oh, well, he got out onto the site, but Durka was there to recover. It seems like Vitality are now just going to try and execute off of this. RB still here. Francis, of course. Where else would he be? directly into the action. This is such an obscure angle. There's no way they're ready for this, but they are able to trade. Profek with an impactful double. Finally, some life being seen in Vitality, but they haven't won the round just yet. Ivy is hot on their heels.
It took Danby stunning himself to give them a chance for Vitality. This can't be one that they let slip, and a double swing locks it in. 4 rounds guaranteed at the half at least. With a pistol round under their belt, you thought it would be a little earlier that we saw that on the board, but
yeah,
it comes in the nick of time again though.
Look at the HP at the end.
A close round, narrowly surviving for these players, and like I said, this comes off the back of Danby stunning himself. If he doesn't, I don't think they win this round.
Wow, that's the 4th round. As said, I think a 7-5 for Vitality, it's not too bad. I think they'll be quite happy going into the defensive half. It's the manner in which we've got here. Nongshim have been in the driver's seat all the way through their defense. And that little bit of additional confidence might completely turn how their attack side goes. Like, they've still got the pieces for a good attack side. It was just that in recent form, that's where they've struggled. But it seems like they're not struggling with a lot so far in this map. Danby for the first time bringing out the operator, a completely different look to what we've seen through this game so far. And no doubt we're seeing the drone used in early positioning. It almost has to be with how aggressive their opponents have been.
They will at least clear that position, but not for long. One smoke goes up and all of a sudden you think Danby's gone into wine. Instead, he is looking for a pick in mid, finding it as well. Out for more, and it's a bit too much. Ooh, that had been spotted, but RB won the fight. I'm not even sure from where he was. He could have seen Profek before that. Got the jump on him. Despite the info being known of Vitality, 1 man down and Chronicle less than half. It's looking like an 8-4 half.
And of course, left. The defensive side haven't stopped pushing.
Naturally.
At this point, then you have to know that they could be anywhere, everywhere, all at once. And there we go, easy kill for RB. And this is the thing, you don't know what ground you've gained, you don't know what you've lost, because they have no respect for the positioning that you could have taken. Sayonara at least will be able to get one, but immediately RB is on that flank. He thought about TPing into the site. That would have been manic. Instead, though, his teammates are cleaning up the mess, leaving Yumpy again alone in a clutch. He came close earlier in the game. This time, the spike is ticking in his favor, but he's being slowly surrounded, slowly crunched in on, and needs to find a pick quickly, and he will not be able to. It's RB, the old boy on the Nongshim Force, that have been able to take things home. 8-4, a very good defensive half.
Well, considering they lost the pistol, yeah, this could easily be double digits on the board for Nongshim. And the way that the rifle rounds went,
it could be 12-0.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it could be so much more. This, honestly, Vitality feel lucky to get out of there with 4 rounds, and this isn't the face that I expected to see from this team here today. Again, we talked about this squad. When it comes to international experience, they've got some under their belt now. But they won't have played in front of a crowd like this. A crowd that's rooting for them and them alone. They heard their opponents mount the stage earlier on to a sea of boos. I think their opponents, the decibel level was louder, but there wasn't nobody cheering for them. And yet now they find themselves trailing. That's where you got to dig deep. Perhaps that crowd energy can help out. Speaking of which, let's send this one over to a good friend of mine. That's right, it's Ian Chambers.
Thanks, Mitch. That guy absolutely loves doing an impression of my accent, so thank you. Keep doing it, Mitch. I love it. I'm standing by with a Vitality fan here. What I love about the Esports World Cup, I talk about it all the time, fans travel from all over the world to witness a little piece of esports history. What's your name and where are you from?
My name's Sam. I come from Hong Kong.
Hong Kong. So you've come a long way to come and see this. How big of a fan of Valorant are you?
I think here is a great place for esports, and it's great for Valorant. I think here is I can enjoy very enjoy it.
Yeah. So you're wearing a Vitality shirt. That did not start too well. How are you feeling about your chances in this matchup?
I trust Chronicle, and I trust Sayonara is the best of the player in the world, I think. So they can win this game.
That's good to hear. I'm sure that they'll be loving to hear that support. When you arrived here, what was your impression? What did you think of the size of the Esports World Cup, the stage here? What do you make of it all?
I think the stage is great, and we have a lot of the players loving VALORANT, so I like here very much.
Were you here yesterday in the arena?
No, I'm come from 6th of junior.
Okay, amazing. You think your boys can bring it back?
Yes.
All right, Sam, take a seat. Lovely to meet you. Enjoy the Esports World Cup. Let's get back into the game.
Thank you, Ian Chambers. Now, as we get back into the game, Tom, this is where things start to heat up. For Vitality, they've looked a little bit cold, but now this is their map pick. This is the defensive side that we have so much hope for. And if things don't get off to a good start, even a pistol, I'm going to get worried.
Yeah, I think the fact that both Durka and Sayonara have been having a rough game, especially Sayonara in their last game, ended up with 30 kills for them to come back versus NRG. I think they might need that once again. Nonetheless, it's a good start. Chronicle with the opener. Durka definitely not shying. Well, actually, I was going to say Durka. Yeah, there's a few players not shying away from a fight. There's more defenders in middle than there are attackers. And that's something that gives an opportunity for a fight, but every fight is going just one direction. Maybe the game's not been going great for Vitality, but the Pistols certainly have.
Yeah, it's definitely where they're doing their best work so far. And it was the same starting out the last half. Don't forget, the Pistol was dominant. It looked like Vitality came to play, and Nongshim were getting left behind. But things took a turn after round number 2. For Vitality, this represents the way back in.
Spike down.
The winding road grows a little less steep if they can connect this next one, especially.
That's what I'm talking about!
And you always know that no matter how far behind you are, man like Yumpy's always going to be getting loud. A round's a round to that guy. Doesn't matter the score.
Okay, interesting. Danby's gone in with the Stinger and Light Shields. Now, I've seen hero buys before, but this is a unique one, and there it goes. Very quickly.
Spike
Turns
down
out, Light Shields don't save you from an Outlaw. So, unfortunately, that investment will go amiss, and I'm going to be intrigued to see what he now goes into the next round with, because he doesn't have the credits for it. Sayonara even managing to pick off another, and now for RB. Wow. If anything, he just wants to go the other way to make sure the orb he will give up doesn't go to that Phoenix.
Well, an orb being claimed inside main. RB's got a target. And a close range fight as well. Not a bad pickup onto Chronicle. The plant can now be found. A little bit of extra credits, but more particularly, there is now a growing chance. RB's been good so far. I mean, he would have to exceed greatness to even come close, but...
It's called Guardian.
Yeah, that recovered weapon. Well, never mind.
Maybe we should just stop talking about the guns that they have. It seems to be the second you mention a weapon, that's where Durka just immediately eliminates them, so... There you go. Could have been a lot worse.
Maybe I'll keep going. Pal has my PayPal.
Ah, okay. I've actually heard he owns that company.
He does.
You need to pay
Just a request, yeah. Pay, pal. Well, very important early rounds for Vitality. Connected, the job has been done, but now the difficult task remains. Nongshim come in with a full buy. And thinking about how aggressive Francis and Danby were in that first half, how successful they were with it. Now that they're on the attack, I'm even more scared of what they could put out. Vitality seem to want to scrap towards B main. It's just going to be utility off. No, yeah, Chronicle's thinking about it. They've seen presence now. They won't push in.
He's only got a Stinger. I feel like his utility holds a little bit more value than the gun he has, but it also does mean he needs to get aggressive. And you can see how fast they're expecting their opponents to be. Speaking of fast, one from below, one from above. Ivy's reactions are in another league to anyone else. Waits for the aggression, but this time he's punished by Profek. Chronicle is going to hear the steps running through. Space taken by Danby, a good opportunity. Nice shot connected by Profek, but he can't do too much more. He's left a couple very low, but even still, an inherent advantage now picked up by Nongshim. And yeah, it's safe to say they know exactly where their opponents are.
You know, an attempt to spam back, I think that's about all we can amount it to. Oh, Yumpy. Decent chance to pick off a couple of players here. One shot on any of three. Anyone but Francis, but no shots landing for Vitality. That is a big round for Nongshim. As, again, we talk about the pistol. It's a coin flip at best at times. If you lose the second round, we've got bigger problems, although we've seen that here, especially in the first couple of days. But this is Nongshim's chance to keep running away with it. They know that the momentum and the ball is still very much in their court. And the most concerning thing, as I said, is thinking about Dambi, how confident he was towards the end, especially of that first half. Now on the attack, he's having a round like that. It's definitely alarm bells for Vitality, but this is a big buy for the defensive side.
Yeah, Operator in for Durka. Sayonara, one away from having his ultimate, although saying that, Exos just got his online. Looks to set them up nicely. Now they need to clear Ivy, because although he didn't have the greatest of first halves, that last round was disgusting. Able to quell the aggression of Vitality.
Spike drop.
Completely solo. But for now, at least, a little bit more tempered by Nongshim. It does really seem like they're building up into that Phoenix ult B-site press.
This is what Vitality tried to do. So their big full buy rounds where they dumped their ults. There was no one home. This time it's a different story, but the Thorns waiting, the AWP firing to slow the push. They pump the brakes, the spike still, it's in the hands of RB. They are going to the B site, but they're in danger. That spike's being dropped towards the stairs, a double invade from Vitality. Wasn't even needed as Chronicle picks up scalp after scalp.
30 seconds left.
Ross and Francis, a lot of work to do, and it's left to just one. As good as he's been, there's no way back into this round.
Really solid defensive hold from Chronicle there. That was one where as well, it seemed like not only did they get so tunnel visioned in on the Nongshim side, I think either 2 or 3 players got pinged twice by the reveal, which is madness that nobody shot that when it was fired over the top. So that gave all information over to the opponents, but also then when you send through the Phoenix ult, it just activate the wall. Nobody else was through on the other side, so they got staggered. Nice, it meant the rotation could come in. Became quite easy for Dirk to make sure that ult didn't go anywhere. And well, with quite a lot thrown into this round, Vitality came out smelling of roses.
Well, that's it. They were very much on standby for this exact play. They had 2 players in the spawn. One sat on site with turtled utility in the form of Chronicle. The second, the spike, makes it over to the stairs, and the rest of the squad is staggered behind because of the wall. Because I don't think it was just the Phoenix ult, right? RB went through as well with the spike. So
I think maybe, yeah.
It's like you're
TP'd through.
So now the ult fades. You've got one dude in the middle of the open with the spike on his own. And as soon as that falls on stairs, as soon as he walked towards stairs, it's like, this is over. Because Vitality had the rotates in time. They had boots on the ground, right position. And already, you can see the timeout was called immediately. The second that one slipped, because there were a lot of mistakes there. The initial execute, the reveal not being shot, the spike being deep on its own, isolated. That can't happen.
I think it's also the context of the last 2 times they played this map. Because it feels like a bit of an early pause, but when you go 3-9, 3-9 on attack sides in back-to-back games, I think the coaching staff very quickly realized that if we're going to get ahead of this, we need to do it early. We don't want to allow this map to slip away after having such a solid half. Dear Lord. Wow, Exros has got a little bit unlucky with that one. A wallbang that has ripped his head off in the first seconds of the round. Well, losing your Phoenix like that, not going to help out the problems.
No, I mean, that's not that bold of a statement, I think.
Good
Fantastic work by Vitality early. They found 2 spams, 1 for a kill, 1 for damage, but Dambi quick to try and recover. They're taking out the Vice utility, but still on site. Yumpy remains 53 HP, and they know that he's here, but not exactly where. The snake in the grass strikes for at least 1. Can he get another bite into a pound of flesh? He will! RB's caught on the retreat. Yumpy dancing with death, but every step is perfectly placed. Francis The last man standing. 4 to take down. Yumpy's there from the beginning until the very end for Vitality. They are 1 behind.
That was just good positioning from him throughout the round. Takes a lot of early spam damage, but then there's a lot of spam damage done back in response. The remaining 3 players end up low, but it's more so the molly utilized by Sayonara to give him the freebie. The second he clears RB, the other 2 players are back towards the site, and he's able to isolate some more favorable duels. At that point, if RB turns around, he's trapped on the stairs and there's nowhere to go. So that molly helps him out this one immeasurably, because it gives him a place to hold onto that ground. And then, hey, even cleaning things up towards the end.
Yes, I saw.
We spoke about how this defense from Vitality has been stellar and the opposite for the opposing side in the attack, but after what we saw in the first half, I was sort of fully on the cards that, okay, this is going to be Nongshim almost running away with this game, but they've stumbled early in this one, and it seems like the momentum now is firmly with Vitality once again.
I've heard this is now Nongshim with another timeout. That's concerning.
That's surprising.
That's back-to-back, no? Is there 2 rounds?
Yeah,
That's back-to-back rounds. As a player, that's one of the worst things that you can hear. You know that there's mistakes being made. You see it. You just lost 2 rounds, and the first one started with a revealed double ping and 3 players. This one, it really feels like the teacher's taking you down to the principal's office at this point. Like, it's time to behave. But for Nongshim,
well, they're still in the lead.
A lead that was, yeah, but that's the thing. Even though you've got that lead, with the context of their previous attack sides and double pauses like that, I think the morale is going to need picking up now. Like, that is going to do a number on your mental.
I guess. But it also then, I don't know, maybe I would have waited another one to see how the eco goes, but I guess it must have been a scenario that was worrying enough.
Something's wrong, man. They must have called something in the timeout, and they're not hearing the lessons being applied. They're hearing the same communication issues or whatever it is, the same reactions. Maybe it was RB going towards the smoke there, being caught out by the molly. This attempt to get ahead of Vitality, to catch them off guard, even though they've been ahead of the rotates. Whatever it is, it's not a good feeling to have those pauses called back-to-back. You don't... on one side of the stage, for Vitality, they're sat there going, we're not even in the lead and they're panicking. Let's go. This is our game now.
Back to the B site. Eventually, there is going to be the spot, but the fact is there hasn't been any need to move this Vice wall just yet, because it has had value every single round. The TP, I think, has been heard, and then the spike's been dropped on the other side of the wall. RB is the only man standing anywhere near and just stopped going towards Chronicle site. I think that might be the answer. Every time that Vice wall has been there, they haven't even got close.
Yeah, the Vice wall in the way and Danby's wall very short. It was...
hey, that's the average size.
The fast line did not cover very much distance.
That wall
there.
looks massive to me.
Fast lane. Yeah, no, it was huge. Huge. He got off to a flying start. He speeded down the fast lane and then hit the end of it immediately.
You know, I would say that's at least, what, like 5'7"? A little bit.
And a little bit more, maybe? 5 or...
That's your
8?
height, right?
Wow. See, I actually thought you were making a 6'7" joke. I thought that's what that was.
No.
5'7" or maybe a little more. I thought I'm not.
No.
I didn't think you were referencing the fact that I'm 5'7" and 3/4. 3/4 is important. That does put it above average.
Okay.
3/4, which is an important thing. Anyways, what is important is, speaking about being slightly above the average rounds here, 9. Each team, I've added them up divided by 2. I did that quickly as well, Tom.
He's never been rage bait, by the way.
Now this is... I chose to go, all right, listen, so double digits is what they're looking for here. For Vitality, defensive side starts out slowly. And for Nongshim on the attack, it's slow as well. They're looking for a little bit of mid control, looking for a fight. Understandable, they were picked off by shots through walls and spams in the previous round. It was just a low buy, but you don't want this one to slip away in the same fashion. Vitality. Shadows traveling. Not going for any aggression. You know, it's almost like Nongshim are countering themselves. Let's wait for them to push, boys. What, they're not pushing?
They've got a passive operator
30 seconds
in play as well. Dirk has sat back. Danby looking to take the space. But it does mean that re-aggression comes in. There's Durka again with that operator. He's able to just deal death from above. Still yet to be taken out, but at least one comes through. Durka with another shot already. His third kill of the round, and he's diving in for more. Durka's taken over this one. You go one side, you meet Chronicle, you go to the other side, you meet Durka, and while Perfect has to close the round, but it felt like that could have easily been an ace for Durka. What a round from him.
Oh, him getting the ace only came down to if they wanted to risk him having it. I think I might have just seen him at the end there saying, give it to me. He wanted the ace, but the round comes above all. Double digits now for Vitality, a team that outside of the pistol and follow-up for the majority of the first half looked deactivated and looked like they had disappeared. Yet now rematerializing right at the finish line, right when their opponents were there. No timeouts anymore for Nongshim. They have to keep rolling with the punches, but every blow is landing for Vitality.
Right here.
Well, yeah, all the players that were missing have now woken up. I think Durka was 7 and 9 in the first half, and he was just diving in head first to get shot, so you kind of understand it. But now, given that operator, he truly is a different beast on this defensive side. Already lead extended. And while you thought that you could dodge Chronicle by going away from that B side, well, now they have swapped the setup. I think realizing that there has been no success towards B, they're going to try to go back to A once again. Already getting completely denied.
Even as the comeback was underway, the crowd was quiet, but I've heard the chants begin. They're starting to believe. They waited for the lead to be taken.
It's an opportunity.
Nongshim losing Francis, losing Ivy. This was the thing. Vitality knew where these players were. You could see it from the get-go. Kron here to finish the deal. Okay, never mind. And instead it's going to be Dirk. Instead it's going to be Sayonara to close it out for Vitality. 11-9 now. The lead stolen from their opponents. 8-4 at the half. Now it's a commanding lead for Vitality. And with the wind in their sails, there's not much more distance to go.
Wow, completely blinded. He still manages to get the kill, and I think then even not knowing that Durka was in that couple of consolation frags for RB, but this has been a game of two halves, and somehow Vitality are looking like they might be even more dominant than their opponents were. It's right back to basics. Fast to take towards this ace. Although saying that, 2 players are in, the rest of them are a little bit further behind. They're looking to try and take the weaponry away, and they're just losing fights. This is so disjointed. Finally, though, RB has just managed to strike back with 2. It looked like this was going to be a mess, but he might have just saved them.
Still a Hunter's Fury online for Vitality, but might not get a chance to use it. Nongshim sending numbers in the other direction. They think that the full rotates come in. The spike is going solo towards B-Main. I have to hope that they are going to delay this a little bit. I have to hope that they don't think that this side is wide open. There's no drone. There's no reveal there for Francis. He's slowing his roll a little bit. He's clearing main. He's being cautious, but they've lost a lot of space. 2 players sat inside A main. Spike outside B, 1 in mid. This is a crazy round from Nongshim. I don't mean crazy in a good way, but it's certainly something that Vitality is finding it hard to predict.
Yeah. It looked like they were going to late hit towards the A site, but I think they've ended up working out because of the aggression of the defense.
30
the 2 players
left.
caught by RB, and then the
Spike
3rd
planted.
after they go looking. And he might just close it. No, never mind. Chronicle's at least been able to pick him off. Now, that Hunter's Fury is still available, but it's finding a position that would bring them value. Maybe as a disruption, or maybe it just won't be utilized at all. 2 players underneath that balcony. Knows there's at least 1 down there. Chronicle's going to have to be the danger man, though. X-Ross already shooting back at him. Will be able to help his teammate out, and now it's left down to 1. Nongshim have their response. It's definitely a bit of a fisticuffs, brawly style round. But it's a round, and that's all that will matter to them.
Yeah, at this stage, a slip up would probably mean letting the map go if Nongshim weren't able to take this one across the line. They do remarkably well, and I think from Vitality's perspective, They still have a timeout, if I'm not mistaken.
I think so, yeah.
But using it would give Nongshim the opportunity to reassess. They'll approach this, just sending the op out for the pick. But the thing is, as time ticks away, Nongshim closing the distance on short. There is now some danger there for Durka. They should be ready for it, and indeed, baiting out the first shot, they'll send him back.
Francis got hit on that. Already a little bit of additional damage. Drone looking to just re-clear any of the ground that they lost, and Prophet has spotted out a player towards long. It might sell a bit of a ruse that they're still going in this direction. Instead, Hunter's Fury, and that was the already tagged up Francis. That's going to be one gone. Timing actually works out for Exros, though. He's able to clear the line, but then Yuppie just swings in and pops 2 heads in an instant. I don't even think he should have expected anyone to be there. Okay. A little bit thicker than expected, maybe, for Chronicle.
No, that was all part of the plan. He's rubbing
show
it
the junk in the trunk.
Exactly.
To bait the opponents.
Blind them with the full moon. It's a brave strategy.
New ability?
30 seconds left.
Radianite malfunction. Well, it looks like 12 on the board for Vitality. 20 seconds, Spike miles away. And ults for RB, and he's moving towards the site. I mean, I think they might get a plan out of this.
I don't even...
Clearing it, he might try it. 10 seconds, he'd have to go now.
Left.
Okay, that's one at least. That's the thing, the rest of the players look like they were just going to be holding for the retake. Because that spike was dropped by the Hunter's Fury. I don't even think that they know that they don't have it at this point.
He's probably kicking himself now, clearing that back boathouse with 5 seconds going, I could have just planted, what are they doing?
Yeah, but I like it from the Vitality side, because they just went, they probably assumed they did have the spike. Yeah. So they don't expect him to TP.
They assumed he either has it or he's going to use his ult to take it. So,
and then rather than leaving Chronicle half HP alone on the site, they're going to just retake it as a team. And when you have that much of an advantage, playing it safe makes a lot of sense. And why it does seem like that one chaotic round with RB able to be in the center of a victory might be one of the only rounds they end up with, unless Nongshim can get their first streak of rounds. And while you can see what Profec's doing, he had himself a rifle. Now he's going to hide with a judge in the smoke. The entirety of the opposition waiting on the other side.
Well, there's some tickle damage from Profec, letting his presence be known. Picks up the rifle. Shot landed by Durka, clean onto RB. Paranoia couldn't be better from Profec. And they've seen Danby in the corner, left him on a sliver of health. Now it's only Ivy. 50 up against 5. And a flash coming his way. He's got to run. Dodge it to start with. A kill found, but a formality surely. He has a minute to take down the entirety of Vitality as the home crowd roars. 50 seconds. And then I bet the rest of the squad's already wondering what comp they're running on Split.
Yeah, there's absolutely no hope in this round. The spike's still dropped on the other side. It would have to be an error of cataclysmic
30 seconds left.
proportions, although Yumpy's given him 25 seconds. They all know exactly where he is. He now knows exactly where they are, but I think he could have had an educated guess of that anyway, and Durka homed in on the angle. Okay, got a little bit spicy for a second, but in the end, Vitality will get the job done. From a first half that looked like a pretty worrying deficit, their defense was almost flawless. But for a round for RB, of course it is the map choice of Vitality, but now they'll look to head in towards Split and see if they can...
What do you think of the Sky? I'm curious because I have my own personal thoughts, but I want to hear yours first.
I like the Sky if you're a very strong, capable mid-rounder. It gives you a lot of information. Yeah. You also have that drone to work with in the dog. So I think if you can understand how to use that information correctly, you want to play with pace, you can support your duelist quite well. I don't hate it.
You ready for a bold prediction? Sayonara flexing to Raze is going to lead the lobby.
I respect.
That's very valid.
His raise is good.
That's a very valid.
His raise is good. I see an argument, but let me one up you. He's not going to lead the lobby because Exros is going to lead the lobby.
Exros!
We're
going to a game 3?
Yeah, we're going to
you think we're not going to a game 3 here in Paris?
Agents are locked in, as are our casters. Let's get into game number 2.
I'm getting real sick of hearing this big-time guy talk a lot of smack every time there's an EMEA team up for discussion. I'm keeping tabs on you, Morgan. It's time to get into the game, baby. Nongshim versus Vitality. It was certainly a sad first map for big time, watching that from the sidelines. It looked like Nongshim had the read on Vitality, but the second half was a completely different game. Now 1-0. Does Vitality step in to Nongshim's pick?
Yeah, as we all know, Tyler is better. Definitely when it comes
at almost
coaching.
Everything.
But nonetheless, into the pistol we go. 4 players ready and waiting from the defensive side. Right place, right time. Maybe that's been noted by the opposing side. Sayonara getting the bucket seal of approval, which obviously means a lot. And the defense already on a mass rotation back to the other side of the map. But you can see the attack have left themselves an implant. They have put Chronicle in place, but he doesn't manage to catch the rotator.
Makes sense that he'd like Raze. Reminds him of the Call of Duty days, but this is where X-Ross's duty calls to him, delivering in a big way, a double under his belt already. Sayonara and Profek left very low indeed. Okay. And a spam from RB is enough to take the ladder. Now,
30 seconds left.
Big task for Chronicle and Sayo, one of which holding on for dear life, and the other's just being delivered to the afterlife. It's 1-0. Nongshim in with a convincing pistol.
Yeah, unfortunately, it seems like Morgan might have got something right. X-Ross off to a flyer.
I wouldn't get ahead of yourself just yet. 1 lucky round
already for the Phoenix. And that's the thing. That's the difference between these two. Like, having that additional option, 4 flashes, doesn't need it on the initiator quite as much. But also, if he can keep farming up that Phoenix ultimate, definitely make things that little bit more awkward for the attack side. Of course, we've seen this already in the previous map from Vitality, the struggles that they can have on the attack side. This map's normally a little better. That double dive can cause problems. And actually, well, it looked like Durka for a second was going to dive in alone. The tap of the orb almost loses him his life. He's managed to get quite far.
Now I'm getting a little bit nervous. RB is going to be nearsighted as well, trading out the paranoias, but the swing onto the back, not as clean as it could be, yet still, it's even trades for the side of Vitality. About as good a start as they could hope for. That was the pick they needed, though. That was the pick that would have gotten the spike to a site. Now instead, they're trailing behind. Dambi's filled in the space, he's caught the spike, and it looks like Nongshim have stabilized. It wasn't even the fear of losing the round, it was the fear of this becoming more and more costly. But Dambi has put that fear to rest.
Yeah, I think that's a singular weapon dropped, which still maybe a little bit more cost than they'd like, but definitely not the end of the world. And especially with Durka able to walk in and get 2 kills. I was starting to get a little bit nervous for them, but in the end, it comes out quite comfortable. Come on, looking back to the last couple of games versus G2 and GE, it was 8-4 defensive sides for Nongshim that set them up for success. On the other side of things, the last time that we saw Vitality play this map was versus Leviathan, where they got blasted 13-4. So maybe a few learnings to take away from that matchup. But the time before that, it was a strong attack side half. So arguably both teams starting on their favored side to this map. So this round may end up being quite important for Vitality.
Well, it should do. The early starts what kept that first map alive. Nongshim. The weaknesses aren't really that present. Like you said, the bandit for RB, one of the weaker fronts. The lack of information later into the round. X-Ross goes looking, even uses the hot hands in the corners, desperately wanting that damage, and Dambi is ready to pounce on the back of it. I mean, they've spotted now 2 players outside this A side. For a moment, I thought Nongshim were rotating. I saw X-Ross leave Heaven, move towards the spawn.
30 seconds
I thought,
left.
oh, it looks like they've made the wrong read. They think that it's going back in the other direction. But no, they were just taking more passive positions so these rifles can catch them on the way through the choke point with 20 seconds left. All they have to do is be an annoyance and run this clock down. They have the right players in the right spots, but that pick onto Dambi might just have reset it. X-Ross only good for the one, but 8 seconds and a plant needing to be found. RB desperately trying to deny it, but they've kept it into a 3v2 at the very least. Until that pick.
Makes it interesting, but still, Ivy already has retrieved the rifle. And again, he's going to find one off the back of it. Leaves it down to Yumpy. This has been far more than a bonus round. Ivy with the chance to give them a 3-0 start and steal it away. It seems like Yumpy started to clock on to where his opponent will be coming from. And the ag.al will clutch out the round, but it's a little bit worrying that they even needed that clutch to begin with.
Yeah, I heard a deep sigh from Big Time backstage, but there's no need to be deflated. That was a big round for Nongshim. Making it that close, giving that much of a chance for this to go across the line. Bloody impressive. Considering the Vitality squad break into that site and immediately deal with Dambi, it comes way too close in the end. But a plant found. With one man alive, Vitality find their first round of the board. Now, it gets a bit more difficult. This time, Nongshim are fully armed, and Profek has been blindsided by RB.
Yeah, you almost have to be a bit frustrated if you're Profek in that moment. Look at the corner that he died in. You kind of hope that your teammates might have you covered from that sort of an aggressive swing coming out from the defensive side, but the flash was just good enough that they were all blinded on the other side. It's still a bit worrying, but hey, great work from the side of Nongshim early on. And if RB is going to have a similar performance to what we saw on the last map, we might be seeing a third one after all.
It's those defensive setups as well, rearing their ugly head back from Ascent. That was the problem that Vitality ran into and really struggled to crack the code up. Big fight up in heaven, at least the trade there. Now Vitality pick up the pace towards the site. They know they want to have a fight from above for at least a moment. But Francis still needs to be rooted out from that site. X-Ross's ultimate dealt with. Francis taking a tag. He's still standing his ground. He looked unfazed, but
30 seconds left.
Now the showstopper should send the rest scurrying. Man advantage, possibly even off the back of it. It was Durka to deliver 3. RB all alone with the same task at hand.
It looked like this was another stellar round in the early, but the recovery has looked good. RB with the chance for a freebie, but he's looking for a little bit more. He's hoping that Sayonara never looks up, just keeping an eye on him constantly. There's the jump down. Allows him to cross towards the site. Smoke on towards the spike as well, just to create some danger that the opponents have to deal with. Already looking for the half, but he's so desperately low, and Yumpy was quick to hand. A huge round from Durka, almost using that showstopper as a distraction. But his triple is what gives them an even score.
Oh yeah, he saved the day on the Heaven fight. Onto Dambi. I mean, the second one, oh yeah, no, the showstopper did go too far. So yeah, that wasn't, I thought he got the kill ahead of the rocket, but no.
No.
He got the kill instead of the rocket.
No, the rocket was not close.
That was actually much further than it looked when he was clicking on my screen, but a little flick of the wrist, unlucky. 2-2. Vitality now face off against Pistols. Their reward starts out with an easy pickup from Durka and a spray onto the wall. An excitement. Well, then I see him step really close to a smoke versus an eco with an outlaw, and I'll be honest, I start to get a little bit worried, but I'm sure he won't go much further than this.
You know, it is Durka, a chance to farm, and already another one picked up. The trap play, looking to try and put the pressure on, but he has the support of Sayonara. The last showstopper might have ended up as a fake flash, but if he can build up to the next one in quick succession, he's not going to worry too much. A flawless round. And although this is not the most damning of starts for Nongshim, the thing that worries me is how Durka is playing. Because you mentioned that was aggressive, that was hyper-aggressive. But think back to that last map. A 7-9 first half. He starts popping off, ends the second half 12-3. Like, genuinely was just farming. Now we're seeing that on the attack side as well. That's scary.
Because rounds like that, they're the kind of thing that will probably make your coaching staff very nervous. Like, those are skill check rounds. And if you miss the skill check, things go very, very badly, very, very quickly. Sayo's a little late getting the kill. They hit a headshot with a sheriff onto him. There's a rifle there. You've got an outlaw stuck in the corner. Probably 2 picks and 2 big weapons picked up.
Get punished, don't you?
I do. It kind of frustrates me when it works.
Can't keep getting away with this.
When you've got the players who can take those risks and it pays off the majority of the time, and if you don't get Durka hitting the shot, you've got someone like Sayonara to pick up the pieces, then yeah, sometimes you can play a looser game just because you can back it up. You don't want to see every team do it, but for Vitality, they might need a risk here in the 4v4, but X-Ross is the one surrounded and looking the wrong way in heavy traffic.
No idea. He had absolutely no idea how much ground had been taken, and it seems like it's falling into 1v1 picks. The TP was stuck! What? I don't even think Sayonara realized that RB dare stick that TP, and well, I thought for a second he was going to be just some sort of cloak and dagger that managed to sneak his way through the rounds, but eventually he's dealt with.
That looked like he was invisible for a moment there. There's 2 team, 1 ultimate taken, no one pays any mind, and then he TPs on the site, fires 3 bullets, and they're still looking the other way. What the hell? Well, as much as he might have gotten a few chances, none capitalized on. And for Vitality, this is a fantastic round. The ability to walk up behind like that in heaven, crunch on an X-Ross who, yeah, he looked there a moment ago, and he looked there a moment too late, but he left the gap, and that gap was filled in by Vitality immediately. That doesn't feel nice from the side of Nongshim. A round loss like that, well, no surprise to see a timeout.
Yeah, I think we're already starting to get the alarm bells that happened on Ascent.
Back-to-back rounds there.
This is now your map choice. The defender side is where they've done their best work over the last couple of maps, and you could see that a lot of these almost feel like it's momentum. Like you're having Durka get more and more aggressive. That was him running through B Heaven with a Blade Storm, getting an opener. And although you look at that 1-for-1 trade and you go, well, yeah, that didn't matter that much. It's the space they got. Like everybody else had to almost fall back in fear and even pull rotations. And in the meantime, the rest of the attackers go through vents and backstab your Phoenix. Like that's too much ground being lost. And this is, of course, now elimination on the line. The playoff bracket here at EWC is a brutal one. It is one and done. No second chances. You lose here, you are out.
You mean you lose in the series, but it's very relevant for the map for Nongshim. They've made their mistake. They have faltered already. There is no more room for failure on that defensive side. 4-2. And Nongshim starting with pistols means already a healthy amount of rounds likely online for Vitality. That said, Nongshim have done some work in rounds like this. A Nightfall there if needed for retakes, but they will need an upper hand to be claimed before they think about putting that through. At least I'd imagine so.
Yeah, you never quite know with Nongshim, but I do agree. Already contact into middle. Being left with a gap, trying to set him up to thrive. The flash has left him blinded.
I do like the attempt to pre-fire on the Prowler with the Marshal. That was nice and relatively close.
Time to hunt. 30
you find nothing with that. Vitality fill in that mid space, take it for free. Now what do you rely on? Well, the reposition of the Marshal. A good tag. That was a collateral tag as well. Makes it much easier for the rest of the squad to finish off these kills. X-Ross straight in with a headshot. Another delivered on the Sheriff. And they're hungry for more. X-Ross! He's got 3 under his belt. 6 seconds left. The plant needs to be started now. There's no time to delay. It has to be stuck, and X-Ross has won the round alone.
Oh, really impressive stuff. The Nightfall helping out towards the end, but it was the couple that he got. Catching Sayonara at the spike just seemed to put this round into turmoil. A domino effect that forced them into the fights of this man once again, and he just was not missing. It took the final man on Vitality to take him down, and by that point, the round was already won. A huge step up, and well, you could see the excitement from his teammates. 4-3, a break back a response, a huge boost to the economy, and while a man who was terrorizing them early dealt with, and so is Profek.
I like the pace from Vitality. They want to get right into Nongshim's face. They lost the round. They want to get right back on the horse. But Nongshim, they stand and greet them in every single battle, bar one. They come out with a flawless victory. That is huge from Nongshim. You win one round, it's a flash in the pan, but then you shut them down immediately right after, and the pressure is on to Vitality all of a sudden.
Yeah, it looked like there was a world where the momentum of the last map, the streak of rounds from the attack was just going to give them an immense half, and then some individual brilliance from Exros, and Nongshim are right back in the game again.
Okay.
This time the operator in the hands of Francis, so expectation is that maybe Danby will look to try and challenge the walk-up, the paranoia setup. We've already seen Profek get caught by this before. In fact, in the exact same corner he was standing in. If there's any sound made, any movement on that side, he may just be dead to rights.
You can see Danby is certainly on his marks and ready to go. All they need is that sound cue. In goes the Tiger, clearing out mids. Nobody there. They're starting to wonder what the plan could be. Now a player shot that reveal. I'm surprised to not see the paranoia go through. Profek moves to a safer position. He can get out now. He's no longer trapped. If Nongshim pulled the trigger on this execute, but it's all off of Francis's contact. They want these players to already be deep before the paranoia hits. But Profek, he's seen these games before, but he won't win them this time either. Vitality, they thought they dealt with the aggression after seeing one, but again, Nongshim double, triple down, and Vitality are caught off.
I love the traps that they set. And I love the patience as well. Like we sort of set this team up that they are the aggressive team. And at times they are. At times it looks like they do just run it down into their opponents. But this was timed. We mentioned it. After someone shoots that reveal, you go, you could have done it then. But they were waiting for more than just a singular player. And although Profek deals with the initial aggression, it's the re-push that ends up catching Vitality off guard. A fantastic round from the defensive side of Nongshim. And while from 4 rounds lost in a row, they now find themselves in the lead.
They're playing this game like it's Mousetrap. Every step that's taken by Vitality risks them being caught in a cage they couldn't even see moments ago. For Nongshim, the defensive side especially, it has something special to it. Looks like such an annoyance to play against. And that's in the structure of how they set up the buy rounds. Then you have what started this streak being Exros getting a 4K with the Sheriff and winning off of time. I think they might have won off of the kills in the end, but it literally didn't matter. It was already done from that man. The work off of his back as players brushed off him like water off a duck's. It was ridiculous to see them play like that. And then they leaned towards trap setups. Before that, it was Vitality running at them in the round right after they won it with the Sheriff. And they dealt with the full frontal aggression. You play slow, there's traps. You play fast, they're ready. You break against the cliffs like the waves. Nongshim stand tall now in the lead, 5-4. This has been a fantastic resurgence from the squad.
Yeah, I think one of the most important things was just shutting down Durka. We said it looked like he was building into that attack side, and it might just be one of those maps where he absolutely dominates. We've seen it many a time. He's been doing it for years. For the last few rounds, he's managed to get absolutely nothing. They've walked into the traps. And now the question is, how do Vitality react? Because you've tried the fast-paced hit, and you've been met by a Danby operator. You've tried the slow round, the default, the push into mid and then fall back to B, and you've walked directly into a trap. Where do you believe that the gap can be found? And you could see the early patience, because especially go back to the last map, normally once they took a pause, Nongshim went for this crazy, aggressive, ultimate-based round that ended up just blasting them out of the server. So they're just sitting, waiting for now. But if anything, with this operator just honed in on the angle, they're almost playing into their opponent's hands.
It depends on the push itself. Sky's on the rotate over, but Yumpy out of flashes for the time being. It means they go in blind. A cloudburst not providing enough cover. A deep showstopper not landing. And an ultimate pop by X-Ross. He keeps control of mid for a moment, then slides into the site, but there's nothing left to do.
What?
RB ran into the smoke. He's a madman. But Francis is there to carry them across the line. Another very successful round for Nongshim, and it looks like Vitality are out of ideas.
Yeah, they are just, they've gone for basically the same play again, like having this early slow default, thinking, okay, they're not going to have the same trap in back-to-back rounds. Instead, though, it's different. You have the contact setup. They then try to burst through with a showstopper, but you just have these players constantly re-aggressing. RB having no fear whatsoever. And then Francis doing exactly the same thing. The second you think you might have a respite with Nongshim, you are wrong. And what, 6-4. 4 rounds in a row now for the defensive side, directly after a pause was taken for Vitality. Again, we start to look towards the French organization, the EMEA squad that maybe has the most hopes of challenging for that title. And it's the same again. Danby with a crispy opener and gets rid of Sayonara.
It's got to be frustrating to run into him no matter where they go. Now he runs into them, but Dirk is there to meet him. The Marshall winning the fight out. Giving a chance perhaps to Vitality still. There's so many players here on the rotate. Ivy not caught by either flashes. Primed for that push out, and he's catching them all. It's Ivy with 3 that quells any hope from Vitality in this round. They remain on 4, while Nongshim now have a chance for an 8-4 half.
Yeah, I think when we were sat there with them 4-2 down and they took a pause, I wasn't massively believing they'd be able to turn it into maybe even a half victory. But now they're potentially going to walk in with an incredibly comfortable one. I don't know what was said by the coaching staff, but evidently it's worked out. And sure, I think credit needs to be given to X-Ross. That spark, that flame that seemed to just turn them around. I think it was Danby just screaming his heart out the second that they won that round. And he's now been devastating ever since. But this round was all about Ivy. An ultimate even committed in the last round in the form of the Seekers. The round before they used a showstopper, both to no effect. Not even space was taken in that moment. And now you look at the defense, they haven't had to use their ultimates. They have 4 ready for this round.
Big pickup by Durka. It was him the majority of the time being picked off right away by that operator.
He thought about sticking that.
He did. I thought he was going to stick it as well, and I thought no one was going to see it, but I think he's avoided death with that cancellation. The Viper's Pit's going to cause issues. Getting in and planting, an impossibility without a serious fight, and before at least those players had filled in the space. What? He's just spammed through the pit to take down RB. Now Durka's got
Viper.
Viper, but they don't know about X-Ross! He was in that pit, hiding, waiting, biding his time! He takes that burden from his team and carries them to 8-4 at the half.
Just me. My God, that was an insane round from him once again. He's had most of his kills in 2 rounds, but those 2 rounds have been some of the best rounds I've ever seen in my life. I thought the moment that pit dropped, he was in trouble. It turned out that was their safety net, not being able to know where he is. That was a kindness that he was giving them. And you can see it again. Absolute insanity from X-Ross in this round, and a well-deserved half lead for the side of Nongshim.
Now that was absolutely fantastic, but you know what? I've heard we've got a little bit of entertainment for you as we go to the halftime break.
Yes, a little bit of entertaining here, because once again, you know there needs to be a team standing strong against the crowd's favorite. It was Energy yesterday. Today it's Nongshim, and I'm joined by Daphné and Jean, French Nongshim fans. Daphné et Jean m'ont rejoint, 2 fans de Nongshim. So my first question is going to be, I'm very happy to welcome some fans here on stage. Être sur scène, qu'est-ce que ça te fait? Vas-y, décris-nous un petit peu la vue.
c'est un peu intimidant, honnêtement. Et moi, ça me fait plaisir d'être là pour Nongshim parce que je sais que dans la salle, on est moins pour eux. Et du coup, c'est pour montrer notre soutien, c'est cool.
Et on est content de t'avoir aussi. It's a little bit intimidating here on stage, but we need to make noise because there's a lot of Vitality fans, of course, in the audience. And my second question is going to be, you guys are French, so do you have any recommendations, for the esports fans that are going to be coming all over the summer? Est-ce que vous avez des recommandations du coup, peut-être quelque chose à faire, quelque chose à voir à Paris, quelque chose à manger?
Pour voir, il y a la base, la Tour Eiffel, l'Arc de Triomphe, mais je pense que c'est bien aussi de faire le tour des quais de Seine et d'aller un petit peu sur les bateaux, etc.
Wandering around, maybe un truc que t'aimes manger, toi, de ton côté?
Pas un baguette classique, franchement, c'est très français, très cliché, mais ça reste très bon quand même tout le temps.
We have the best bread in the world, of course. Who is your favorite player? Who is your MVP in this Nongshim team? C'est qui le MVP chez vous?
Chez nous, c'est X-Ross, le super clutch qui vient de mettre en plus pour terminer le half.
Et pour toi?
Moi, mon préféré c'est Ivy quand même, il est très très bon quand même, il a un énorme aim et j'adore ça.
Ivy and X-Ross fans, let's see if the boys can carry this game on the second map.
Thank you very much, Lou. Well, it's time to see if this story's ending here or if there's another chapter yet to be written. Vitality trailing at the halftime, and it might be intimidating up there to cheer for Nongshim, but you know what? You had an easy half cheering along. I didn't hear a lot from the Vitality fans.
No, I think they're a team that it's impossible not to like. They're probably the nicest of all the players, but then you get in the server and you see them do some of the nastiest things you're ever going to watch in your life. I think both X-Ross and Ivy, good choices. But is there going to be a response again? We saw this in the defensive half of the last map. It looked like Vitality were maybe going to go into this map with a deficit. Instead, they came out with an advantage. Is it going to be the same again? They might just need another pistol. And already, Dirk under serious pressure. I'll be honest, I don't know how he's alive.
He was going out for a knife kill, but it's quickly spiraled into favor for Nongshim. It's a little bit messy. Yumpy barely survives. 22 HP, a stray bullet will take him down, and they can't hold the spike under those conditions. It's time to fall back. Still a paranoia to play with for Profek. He spotted them. The retake of ramp underway. Profek fleeing to spot them. Oh, it's a messy fight. Nongshim were both ready for that. Ivy and Francis trained in on the angle, and now it's only the low HP of Yumpy.
I think they saw him.
They've definitely seen him on that peek up. Ivy was tagged earlier, but he won't be looking for the scrap anytime soon. An immediate rotate from both parties. Yumpy a little bit late.
Might be able to catch one on the fadeaway. No, he's been
30
spotted.
seconds left.
22 HP. He would need an instant shot, and he's not going to get it. It's the pistol now under the belts of Nongshim, and they do look like they're running away with this now.
They were so quick with that as well. Ivy jumped onto the rope and then jumped off it, so he hears both hit it and thinks, well, they've both dropped. Okay. Even peeking in, looking down below for that little head peek angle, and then surprise, my guy's standing up on top waiting. Nice work by Yumpy in a decent attempt, but grouping up for Nongshim gave them the upper hand. And the reposition was perfect. That's another pistol under their belt, and I'll tell you, as I said, the crowd had been quiet. I heard them start the chant again for the second half in favor of Vitality, but once again, the quiet comes over the venue. Nongshim should have an easy time in the first few fights. In fact, all of them look incredibly simple for the squad. It's an eco from Vitality, of course.
They had the same trap, the flash initially and then the paranoia through the wall for the defender side, but they didn't get anything from it. Of course, the weaker weaponry made that quite a bit more difficult, but also the passiveness of X-Ross, meaning he wasn't caught by any of it. It now leaves Profek, who, I'll be honest, a couple of kills for him might be a bit of a saving grace. He's been having a pretty rough game so far. Does he check? Oh, no. Oh, yeah, he does. Okay. That's at least one. It's only the pistol, so not anything too damaging lost. And all of the players are pushing, by the way. Every single one of the Nongshim players have just completely left the spike. They didn't care at that point. They wanted the orb.
Well, you know he can't defuse, right? He's in front of you. So why not box him in, take him down. Grab your orbs along the way. This is definitely got a different flavor to it than the previous map where Vitality had already fought back. They found that streak of 4 rounds and nothing since. Definitely looks like a strong pick for Nongshim, and the question is, will there be a sign of life before the end? This is pretty much it. The last expected heartbeat of Vitality.
Toxins going up.
It starts to falter here.
Poison.
There will be Breeze on the horizon, and Nongshim wasting no time. Dambi's already ran up through mid, but he's taken a lot of damage.
This is a round that it's safe to say Vitality cannot afford to lose. Already backs against the wall in their opponent's map choice. It was 4-2 the last time they won a round. Since then, 8 in the other direction. Early trades back and forth, but it is Vitality that comes out on top. Of course, bonus round for Nongshim, so even keeping this one tight might be enough, but with Ivy and RB, plenty of credits in the bank, it's safe to say they're going to be going for this one.
Yeah, certainly with how the rounds have gone for them so far, they'll give them a decent chance. The pressure put onto RB, good paranoia. They'll use it to TP as well, and I'm not sure they will have heard that.
I think so.
I think Profek was hit by the paranoia as well.
30 seconds left.
They definitely know about him now, a little bit late on the spam, but all the while he is just buying time. 20 seconds for that flank to come all the way around. Running out of time, running out of chances to get this across the line. It's got to be a more aggressive play, and well, that certainly was aggressive from RB. They know where Ivy is. He's got no time to connect these kills, and you can see Durka just flees, realizing he can win it off time alone, but Profek will at least secure Vitality a 5th round. A chance here, but a long road ahead of them.
Yeah, I think that even in that moment, the goal was to just try and take weapons away. I think they knew at that point they'd already lost the round just off the back of losing the spike in this scenario, but even still was a bonus, getting rid of 3 guns. And if they'd won that fight, it would have been a 4th. Still feels like a mountain to climb for the Vitality side, and just looking at Exros, unfortunately, there's going to be a very smug Morgan when we get back to the desk, because he has been incredible, and he has the running back online.
Yeah, that's the scary thing about this round for Vitality. Credits all put on the line for Nongshim. They have ultimates to throw at it as well. They've looked good when it comes to the buy rounds. They've got the majority of the defenders towards the A site, which means Profek stands alone. He's isolated, but he's isolated a duel to start.
Spike down B.
Not bad. Now teammates coming to help out. The spike recovered by Dambi, but he's going back in. They're not giving up on Nongshim. They know there's numbers here. They are not deterred, and perhaps they should be. RB TPing to the site's being hard, but he gets the jump on Chronicle. Looks back to Durka. He's dancing around that pillar, but has no idea that death is right above him. Durka's adjusted. He detected Ivy, I don't know how. And he's left RB all alone. The spike in Durka's possession. Yumpy at his back as well. They're now together. The high-low in play. A firing squad whose only job is to execute this omen. When he steps into their sight line, the smoke will cover him for now, but into the fight he goes, and out of the round. Vitality, another lifeline delivered, but many more needed.
I think good initial work by Profek to slow them down. I think especially just finding an angle where he couldn't be spotted by that running back. But then it is Durka. It's Durka just sort of flipping back to the player above that turns this round on his head. It looked like for a moment that was going to slip away from them. But once they get into that 2v1, solid positioning to make sure it was incredibly difficult for RB to isolate any of the angles. I also don't think his smoke helped him out too much. I understand what he was trying to do, but I think it kind of boxed him in with no angles to fight. Aggressive stuff from the defense though, and well, versus a low buy, this might end up being a problem.
It's an immediate stun by Dambi and the flash that came out from Exros. That is what gave them the upper hand, but oh, push comes to shove. Somehow they're still holding on. This looked like Vitality were falling, or sorry, we're crushing them, but they've fallen behind. Sayonara is desperately low, but he survives the spam of the Guardian, and indeed survives the round. Vitality 7-10. I'm starting to believe it's possible. A 3-round gap is where this game changes.
Yeah, we've seen this already in the last map. Desperately far behind. They then manage a mass streak of rounds, and although some of these have been a little bit tighter, I'm wondering if we might see that pause coming out once again. I think the Nongshim coaching staff have been incredibly proactive. Even in the last game, it was the same, where they were in the lead and they slow things down a little. Clearly not feeling the burn just yet, but I'm looking at that operator into Durka's hand. It was a game changer on the defensive side of Ascent. But on this side, it seems like he'll be on the wrong side of the map. This is looking like an A hit for Nongshim.
Well, it's looking like they don't have much of a choice, Tom. There's no coverage outside B with full control there for Vitality. The only thing is the defense is waiting for that fight on middle, not knowing it's coming in the other direction. Yumpy taken out of the round, and the team P cancelled from Profek. Danby single-handedly got them this site, got them the plant. Wow, gotten them a huge advantage and probably forced Vitality to save because he spammed through a pit and a smoke. That part's a little bit BS. The rest of it was impressive. The last bit, more frustrating than impressive. But got to be incredibly frustrating for Vitality to now see that round drop like that.
Yeah, this is the Danby effect. I thought they were going to build in and potentially use some of the ultimates. It's only the Viper's Pit that ends up being utilized in this moment, but a more direct hit and finding the isolated man. The fact is there's at least been some delay for the defensive side so far. I think Profek, the last round, he was able to hold the line for rotations to come in. This time, it's so quick that they get rid of Yumpy that no one has an opportunity to get in to support him. There's no way anybody could have found some sort of trade without, well, the same BS spam that we saw from Danby. It's going to be another round onto the board. The pause clearly not needed just yet, and for Vitality now, with that streak coming to an end, they now have to pick themselves up again, 4 rounds behind, and their opponents only 2 from taking us to Breeze.
Toxins going up.
Oh, for Vitality, as you said last round, the isolated man found the one without delay. This time, they're going to leave Profek towards the A side, a man who can escape at least, perhaps delay with the paranoia, but not from where he is. Again, the idea from Vitality is to look for the mid-fight and to leave Durka embedded where he is. He's going to have a challenge.
He was seen.
There.
This doesn't seem worth it anymore. I was about to say, when you've been spotted through the gap in the smoke, the value of this diminishes massively. An expected mid-push almost feels like a death sentence.
They're going to flash that?
Instead, though, they seem very ready for Durka's positioning.
They were.
Danby able to bait the shot, and he's looking to try and do the same again. He's just looking to try and fight him alone. And while he's lost his life because of it, no trade to be had just yet. The cover available to help out. RB, however, has just TP'd to the other side of the map, clearly realizing that Profek had abandoned it, given that information over by Ivy. And they'll find themselves a post plant with the defenders fairly far away.
With the time and space lost by Vitality, it's almost a good trade for Nongshim. They're a man behind, but the clock plays as their 5th man here. The dog sent through, cancelled immediately. That's so much info denied. Great spam. Ivy's done wonders here. Reading those rotations, calling for the spike to make it over here. And now stopping the information game. Vitality go in blind. They lose Profek right off rip. Sayonara's down and out as the flood in sees Vitality washed away. Durka try as he might. It looks like he has absolutely nothing to say. Nongshim 12-7. 5 chances to close this out and bring us to 3.
And this is something I've really loved about watching Nongshim, is it's just they get the piece of information they need and they will make the bold call. The bold call is to just TP into the back of that site. Go, I've spotted the rotations, I know what's going on, we can get a plant, and it's going to take them ages to have those rotations. And as you said, I feel like even the spam that he went for to deny that information, it's a bold play. If somebody swings him, takes him out, that's a problem. Instead, he's able to slow down the push, enable their own crossfire back towards the ramp, and then the players within the site are able to just bide their time. A 4v5 that looked like Nongshim had the advantage throughout. And now a last-ditch effort from the coaching staff of Vitality to try and save this map and stop them having to go to Breeze.
Yeah, this is one of the more difficult ones. 5 rounds in a row, no room for error for this squad so far, and it is starting to look like on the other side of the stage, Nongshim are on a form that just cannot be broken. Seeing Danby have this level of success, and yes, big time, I see you with your headset on, your in-ear in. X-Ross playing the way that he is. He's doing a great job.
Who?
I hate
Big Time or
X-Ross?
X-Ross?
X-Ross,
Oh,
of
okay.
course. Big Time got lucky once. Smug look in his face. Well, smug look on Nongshim's face as well. 5 chances to close this out. And Vitality definitely looking more deactivated than the last map.
You can see this again. This is something that we've seen regularly from Nongshim. You take a pause and we're going to be right in your face, right down your throat. The second these rounds begin, they send Danby up mid, but this was all just to try and pincer. We saw this in the last half. And now Dirk is the one under pressure, but they've kind of bypassed him already. The site is firmly under their control. In the meantime, Sayonara has popped a showstopper that's achieved nothing. And although Dirk managed to get a free chance of success, he's completely missed the beat. 2 players already down. Sayonara desperately low, has to flee. And with time against them, now a 6th man it seems. This is looking done.
Breeze will be map number 3. It seems like we're going all the way there. 13-7. A resounding defeat dealt to Vitality in front of the home crowd. There might not be many Nongshim fans in there, but they've earned the right to get loud. This was a masterclass on Split, and it's not over yet.
Punish a lot of those early aggressions that the double duelists will be able to do on that opposite side, as well as on their defense. When they do switch over, it's just a lot easier of a time to be more proactive on their road.
Can I ask about the KO on the attack here? We see the ag.al Yampy running it. Why do we see the KO on his home map, Breeze?
Well, I think you get a lot of extra information, as well as there's some great cross-map knife lineups. He's going to look to disable that defensive stronghold that Nongshim will have there, especially that Viper, so might unlock that B site a little bit more.
As Golden Boy would say, are you ready? On the mic, we got Mitch and the ugly boy, better known as Tom Biz.
And as Degon would say,
what the hell?
I'm absolutely ready. I'm excited for this game. He always says that. Let's get into the matchup as we see Vitality and Nongshim clash on the 3rd map, Breeze. For Nongshim, what a map they're coming off of. Split was complete control for them. Full confidence as well. Looking at players like X-Ross still playing that Phoenix to carry that same fire through that they had on the previous map, and already you can see there's going to be a big battle here in mid. They found RB, but that man is not alone. X-Ross trying to bait them in so Danby can take that kill from the side, but there's the knife landing that the desk was talking about. A bit of extra information, and they know exactly where to crunch in on. Vitality dotting their I's, crossing their T's, but losing a couple of kills for free. It's very close when Francis gets a chance like that, but now Ivy's got a 1v3.
It felt like the chance might have just faded away now that the spike can make its way to the other side. And that's going to be enough for Chronicle to close. A team ace for Vitality. Everybody showing up in this pistol round. And I think an important breakback. That last map felt like they got choked out of it after what was a pretty deadly start. And then for them to come into this one and look fairly comfortable in this pistol round. Of course, you always know with Nongshim there's going to be some pressure put into the middle. Some aggression that might disrupt a little bit.
Go.
Yeah!
Instead, though, it doesn't seem like Vitality have gone anywhere. 1-0, not going to be much invested into this one by the side of Nongshim. But their plan seems to be to put pressure into mid once again. And hey, Chronicle, he might have done damage to Danby, but other than that, they're all good.
Ivy's flown under the radar for a moment, but being seen in the end. Still, they end up with a pick. Fish in a barrel on the fire through RB. Putting us down to what is now a 5v2, and what in the world? Vitality have lost what should have been a simple and easy round. And after how this started, the confidence that was there in the pistol, how clean every fight was, they didn't leave a single corner unchecked. And this time, They are destroyed.
Look at the kills that are coming through. It's like people are cheating. What? 2 just straight spams through smokes, and then 2 crazy shots from Danby. One of these teams had an eco going into this round, and it's quite hard to tell which one.
What a shame that we have these observers. How could they not see those kills coming from RB? Disgraceful. That's ridiculous. And Nongshim gift. Oh, Ivy! They've only got pistols, for God's sake, but the round that they just had. Then he's hitting clean ones like that. Okay, there will be some cost to this at least. Yumpy, nice flash, and even then, X-Ross ate that flash, full blinded even after the kill. That is a crazy start for Nongshim.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm still recovering from round number 2. Like, just 2 blind fire shots through smoke, and then you got this to add up to. Sure, it's against low buys, but let's pretend like even if it wasn't a low buy, he would have killed them anyway. It would have been exactly the same. He headshot everyone. Didn't even really need to in this round, but they are feeling it. Oh, I'm sure Vitality are feeling the pressure. The last hometown heroes, the French organization of Vitality, who will want to be getting as many of those club points as possible. It's not just about Valorant when it comes to them.
Standing ahead.
And for Nongshim, the last representative of Pacific, they are fighting tooth and nail, and already Ivy again surviving on the site, but the trades have been there. Alert position from RB spotted, and the B site take looking stellar.
They've made it in, and the plant's being found, but they've stepped into the operator. Danby and X-Ross wasting no time to put this back even. Something attempted, and at least for the start, it's something won. Profek,
what is he
under
doing?
Pressure. I'm not sure I've ever seen anyone play this game like Danby does. And Nongshim, one man stands in their way. It's Profek to carry Vitality, kicking and screaming to 2.
It really is an insane round. There's a moment where I should have said, oh, there's no way that Nongshim could win it. Then there was a moment, there's no way they could lose it. So I guess we kind of ended up balanced. I don't know if it feels that way. The 4v2 that turns into a 2v1 that turns into a guy with 2 HP hitting the last second headshot and getting rid of both Danby and X-Ross. And you can see 2 very different reactions from the coaching staff. One excited, the other very much relieved.
Well, this is it. A best of 1, essentially, that comes down to whether you proceed at EWC or whether your flights home are being booked in the next hour for Nongshim. Making that last round incredibly close, winning out an eco. It's been a great start to this map, and now they've dropped Durka. Yes, he damaged RB, but Nongshim, it's not an eye for an eye. They take both.
It's been a bit of a rough start for Durka. He was lights out in the first few rounds of the last map. In map number 1, it took him some time to get going. Should be a very clear connection of the drone, but doesn't look like Danby gives it. Damn, okay, at least it was Yumpy. He will live to tell the tale. If that was anybody else, they were dead to rights even still. They looked to scurry away, maybe not. Yumpy clearly felt like he'd hard done his opponent. Gave him another bite of the cherry. Profik again. Sayonara as well. And now Danby goes running back in. Ultimate pop, but they don't even know if he's going to use it. Has the operator still in hand. The B site open for business. And a couple of high-impact ultimates available for this attack side, but caught using utility. That leaves Sayonara alone. He hasn't been having the best day so far, but damn, we know he can clutch.
Well, Profek died for this plant. He put the cove up, the protection there to keep Sayonara alive, but now there's no more help for this man. He stands alone against Danby coming from main. Danby's seen him turn the other way. The timing could be there. The reveal gives it away. Sayonara, time ticking decently in his favor. The shock dart for now to do some damage, but the defuse being stuck, and yeah, it's not going to be enough this time. Hoping that they would give him respect, that they would pull off the defuse to go and take the fight, but no. Nongshim have one goal and one goal alone. It's rounds on the board, and it's mission success.
Yeah, again, just the start from Danby.
He's ridiculous.
The timing of Francis's peak as well was unfortunate for Profek, and then, yeah, as you said, they just didn't give him anything. They forced him into a position where he'd have to fight two of them at once. Again, what looked like an opportunity for a good early start from Vitality now sees them with next to nothing to play with Durka on a hero rifle. But other than that, it's only pistols. Only.
Shot from Danby, who's surprised. He's the one to open this up. Durka down, and he's got a wall bang onto Yumpy. They put 6 feet of concrete between them, and they still can't get away from Danby in this early round. Ivy's gone pushing. It's an eco. They don't give a damn. They're flashing through the bloody wall. Nongshim playing a confident game right now as Vitality fall behind.
It genuinely does just feel like the second this team has any level of confidence, yeah, you do.
Oh, come on!
Oh, that's insanity. Things like that. We should be checking his computer. Like, genuinely, admin, get up there, start having a look through the files that have been opened, because that is absolute madness.
I was losing my mind seeing that in the mini-map.
I thought maybe it was like a corner shot.
No.
All the way over into the middle of the wall.
No, he got him in the bloody tunnel. They were running for their lives, and it's still not enough. Now Ivy walks into his own pit. Usually you send someone else, because if you die, it falls, but no. They have no respect left. That would mean showing fear. What if I die? What if I die to these guys? That's what Ivy says. A 4 versus 5 seconds into the round. And of course, Nongshim are reinforcing the A site. They have a pit now to defend this B site. They've got a man advantage already. And although Ivy's used his snake bite for that extra bit of safety and security, if you go walking through that, the utility is the least of your fears. Yeah. I think the only choice is to go towards A for Vitality, and to be honest, it even looks like they're saving. I don't think they are, but they're waiting now for more aggression, because Nongshim have always pushed.
The crazy thing as well is Ivy has been full dipping Durka throughout this game so far. Yeah. Like, it doesn't seem to matter what decision Durka makes. It's the wrong decision. Like, be it holding an angle with an operator.
30 seconds left.
Trying to challenge a pit that's forming. It's irrelevant. And now they're in the right place at the right time. A missed shot. Danby clearly is human after all, but 15 seconds left and 3 players here. Yumpy trying to pad the gap, and he's done so, but there's still another player at the backside they have to deal with, and they do. That gives them a chance with the plant, but the spike has been dropped, has to be retrieved, has to be stuck. Here and now, Hunter's Fury coming through, and does he get it down?
He's got
it! He does not! Francis from a distance has denied the round. A perfectly timed ultimate. And what Ivy, well, he almost had the chance to kill him off at the end. It is 5-2. They are running away with this game.
Unreal. Ending the round with a Hunter's Fury. They've got the cove and they think they're safe inside, but not even close. Could protect you from a fisherman, not the hunter. Tracks his prey all the way to the side, and that's it there. This burst. 0.4 of a second left. And Francis steals the round away. For Vitality, it has to feel like a wave crashing against that cliff. We said it earlier, and Nongshim, since that moment, they stood tall. It would take years to erode them at this pace. A timeout needed, as this game, this series, and their life in this tournament is slipping away.
You look back to their road to the top 4 in London. They went through DRG, they went through EMEA teams, but they had 2 stumbles. One to the champion and one to the only Pacific team they faced throughout. But bear in mind, be it their first defeat in this tournament would be the one that sends them home, and it would be Pacific again. There's no doubt that Pacific has had their fair share of trophies over the last few years. But Nongshim might be looking to try and get 2 2 in 1 year. A much quicker start. Ultimate used immediately, looking to try and basically just flood this round with ultimates, and that's a great start.
Push out from Francis, though. He has found a gap, and that gap has given him the spike now. Nongshim on their way, flooding back into the site as a wave comes plowing forward. They're using that as a gap. They're going to push through it themselves and look for the fight. X-Ross is shut down, and Francis trying to spur on and defend that spike. Puts us back to even territory, but for how long? With Dambi still floating around, a sliver of health is all he has. A single shot, a wall bang, enough to take him out of this round, and he would have been the last man standing. He is! But he wasn't against 2 with a single point of health. Dambi saves the day, and for Vitality, this is a round lost in a more conventional way, but their route to this deficit, RB spams through the smoke, Dambi's op through the wall, Francis saving with the ult at the last second. It's felt like so many of these rounds have been stolen from them, and this one is taken right out of their hands.
I think the more damning thing as well is that this was the round where they go, okay, let's spam our ultimates. Let's use that Reckoning. Let's use that Hunter's Fury to get us into the site.
And they got Ivy, who's been the problem. He's top fragger right now, or was.
But then they end up losing to a low HP Dambi, who was almost wall-banged out of the round. Even still, though, they have a little bit to play with in this one. Well, their Reaper is back from the dead. Death looking to take them down to the depths of hell. As that's where Vitality sit right now. A plant within the A site, a Viper's Pit used. You can see how much these rounds are important to them. The other ult in play is that Blade Storm, and Durka is being surrounded. He still holds on to life. Needs more, though. The rest of his teammates don't have much to play with. It's Sayonara lurking with the rifle. If he wins this fight, they have hope, and he does. That's a big kill.
Spams in the smoke have been huge for Nongshim so far. Vitality
going through it?
Just need to survive this onslaught, and Chronicle, well, hold on! X-Ross got them both! That plant is not good for this position. Sayonara, he has to run at them! And he thought the shock darts would be enough! But X-Ross, he took those bruises. His head may be bloodied, but unbowed in the end as Nongshim continue to streak these rounds together.
The unfortunate truth is if that pit had done enough decay, and by the time he got there, they were still decayed, those shock darts would have been enough. But he was on the wraparound, so by the time he gets there, all of that decay has faded away. X-Ross with another massive round for the team. And that's all the ultimates. All 5 used in the last couple of rounds for Vitality. Looking to try and pad the gap. And instead, they found themselves further and further behind. And their opponents are unrelenting in the force that they use, but this time they are punished. Another couple of kills coming up for Sayonara. He's trying his best. 10 already. But they now have to deal with the op in other hands.
That's the thing. It's not like we're looking at the Dambi show here. 2 players spam the wall and Yumpy goes down. It's been the story of Vitality's game so far, but this wrap from Prophet could be everything. He's blindsided 1. He doesn't know exactly where Francis is. And with RB holding the wrap around, that's the spike down. It's in the hands of Nongshim now. The position of Prophet may not matter as he moves towards the elbow, but look at the reposition from RB. This is actually disgusting. If Prophet suspects this, he's looking across the stage. He can see his opponent's screen because you would never expect RB to be there that quickly. An instant rotate. And Nongshim, they cannot seem to put a foot wrong.
The crazy thing about this round is you have 2 sides of the coin. You have this with just a prediction, and then you have this from RB, where it is just all about placement. It genuinely didn't matter if he connected every single shot in that moment because he was so well placed to deal with them that there was no way they'd have the expectation of him being there. Deflated on the Vitality side, and Nongshim, well, you can see by the way they're playing, they feel unstoppable.
When I play against a team who gets 10% as lucky as this squad, I get an RR refund. This is ridiculous. Nongshim playing a game that shouldn't even be allowed. Dambi meets the first leg of this aggression, and Extros cuts off the other two! It's Nongshim again in the lead! A commanding position to play from. It seems like 9 rounds are locked in, and we're not even finished the half yet. With barely a bruise. They stand strong in the joke. They take down every single one of the Vitality players without breaking a sweat.
Oh, they look crushed. And they're getting crushed in the same form. Their key may survive for now, but it feels like it's soon to be heading to the back of the stage where the Crusher awaits and going into the playoffs. We spoke about the amount of EMEA teams that were heading deep with an opportunity. Heretics, the defending title holder, fell. The hometown hero of Mates went next. BBL may be the only one left by the end of today. As Vitality have a mountain to climb, and Nongshim flying that flag of Pacific look to do it with pride. That's another opener for Dambi.
Make no mistake, it's a packed house here, but it's quiet in this arena as pick after pick after pick goes to Nongshim. A sea of red as Vitality's blood spilled on the stage. Nongshim, 10 rounds at the half. We thought that Split was a dominant display, but this is desecration.
Oh, this is, well, I think that's all you need to see. A calm, and maybe the fear in the eyes of Vitality. It seemed like no matter what they did, they were caught, and just the raw skill on display from Nongshim, moving as a pact on this defense, but they are just not missing a single shot, predicting the movement of opponents, every spam paying off. But there is no doubt that the form we saw in Santiago is back. Anyway, we're off for the halftime.
Tom mentioned there the fear in the eyes. I think we can see a little bit of fear here in Danny Engel's eyes, one of the big bosses at Team Vitality. Danny, what's going on here? Are you panicking? Yeah, you got your fans over there. Are you panicking at all?
Not quite yet. I think it's only over when it's over, right? And we have seen crazy comebacks happening, and I guess the guys can definitely make it happen. So let's believe, and let's definitely cheer loud over there.
You, more than anyone, know how important it is to get off to a strong start at the Esports World Cup. Of course, we talk a lot about each individual trophy. They all matter because collectively, every single great performance you put in across all of the titles over the 7 weeks here at Esports World Cup give you points towards the Club Championship. You came so close last year. Falcons took the title. That's why you're so nervous here, isn't it?
Absolutely, and this is only week 1, right? And I'm already super happy that the boys at least secured 200 points for now. We obviously dream of 1,000 to begin with, but it's a marathon, not a sprint. So let's take it day by day, match by match, and this is one of many, many, many Vitality matches.
When we look back at the points total that you had last year, what sort of number are you aiming for this year that you think could potentially win the thing?
Well, I guess whatever helps beating the Falcons, I guess. But honestly speaking, I think we are looking towards like 5,000 points in total, which is so much. But yeah, any point on the way helps. Every win counts for us. And yeah, I'm still hoping that we can win today.
Sure you are. Thank you very much, Danny. Let's keep moving.
Well, there was talk after Santiago that their time in the sun might be done, but Nongshim have come back in today. They might not need it. They brought their own light, and they are shining bright down on that stage for Vitality. 2 rounds in the first half. This, the last map of the series. Often we talk about that as the middle ground. This has been anything but.
Yeah, right now it looks like the Golden Hornets have met the Fly Swatter of Nongshim RedForce. And they need to try and fight back. back, and that's the worst start they could have had. Ivy already dropping a couple. Chronicle at least able to respond with one, but the A site is under their control, and Ivy is still just looking to hold the line. Chronicle, the man with so many trophies to his name, has given them a chance in this pistol round, and Yumpy's found one, but the response immediate, and there is no stopping the Nongshim RedForce train. A pistol round that might have just ended the game.
Buried beneath round after round, but this pistol feels like the heaviest load for Vitality. They are now trailing, not just in the map and the series, but this half as well. A half that could be just a few rounds. And it certainly seems to be, if Nongshim have their way. A painful loss in the pistol round. We talk about it as a coin flip. And for Vitality, they'll know the answer next time they're asked what's the most they've lost on a coin flip, because they are close to losing everything.
Yeah, we saw this at Masters London. They went out with a whimper. They started map 1 with showing their resilience after going down, but in map 2 that dissipated, and in map 3, we're yet to see them show up. It was a clutch on 2 HP that got them one of their rounds, and unless they can make this force by work, that's all they're gonna have in this half. Exros patiently waiting. Him and Danby are gonna be in the Vitality dreams tonight, and not for good reasons. They haven't quite caught the timing to kill off these players just yet.
Well, they might be a big fish in EMEA, but it looks like Vitality are swimming with the sharks now. Nongshim pulled this rotation to the A site. They wrap back to B, the flank underway from Ivy. He's got them boxed in. Ivy has this round in his hands. He's got them in his palm, and he's closing into a fist. A 3-piece for Ivy, and a death blow on a team that's already long gone.
What can Profik hope to achieve in this round? There's no point holding on to a stinger, but at the same time, at this rate, Ivy might have a Viper's Pit even in these last couple of rounds. 17-7, and France is there to put down Profik. Nongshim have elevated to a different level. It turned out sometimes going back to what you know can be enough to relight that fire. And the Nongshim RedForce spice seems far too much for Vitality to handle.
And this was the most impressive part of that first half, Tom. We talked about the BS rounds, and there were some of them. There's Achilles. Ah, look at him. Look at him. Stop looking so happy, Seth. I mean, we're here. We just love to see teams do well and have fun. That's what we're here for. But it was RB with his spams through the smokes. Danby's up in the wall. Francis winning with the ult. And all the while these players were stepping up. And yes, I think, I didn't actually look at the score line in terms of the kills, but I think Danby probably has overtaken him by now. But there was a point throughout that first half where Ivy was the shining light for this squad. He's definitely putting up numbers. And in a game where everyone else is having these flashy rounds here and there, he was the consistent factor throughout them all. That's the scary thing for Vitality right now. It's why I don't believe in this comeback, even beginning, because they don't just need to beat one guy. They don't need that. Look, Ivy 17-7.
Yeah.
Look at the game Danby's had. He's still trailing. I thought he must have overtaken because he'd so many early up kills, but that's how bloody good Ivy's been. So what if Danby starts missing? So what if X-Ross flashes himself? You're still going to have to deal with Ivy and the rest of the... Oh, Jesus! Oh, my God! Relax, Ivy! They're already dead!
This man has no chill. But you're right. Even if by some miracle for the Vitality fans someone went missing, there has been levels to Nongshim in this match. And Vitality, well, They need a miracle. They need multiple miracles. They need 10 miracles in a row if they're going to survive in this tournament, and it seems like their journey here in Paris has come to an end, whereas the Nongshim journey looks to be beginning. A semi-final spot, all but guaranteed, as Danby looks to finish the job he started. Sayonara, the one to fall, and a 13-2 destruction, embarrassment of Vitality sends them to the semi-finals. They may be Pacific's last hope, but they might be the best hope overall.
Well, they might not have been the majority, but by God, they sound like it now.